What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be telling you how you can get easy wins in Fortnite Season 3 in the zero build mode. So if you are someone who has been struggling to win games in zero build mode in Season 3 or just getting crowns in general, this video should be helpful for you. If you guys do find this video helpful or informative, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and comment down below how many crown wins you have so far in Season 3. I'm interested to see that. So the first thing we're going to start off talking about is going to be where you want to land. And I recommend landing at this shack here at the left side of the map because this NPC sells shockwaves. And if you followed any of my content last season, I think the shockwaves, you'll know that I think the shockwaves are really important in the zero build mode. I think winning or losing in zero builds or like surviving certain situations or like just dying can often be decided by shockwaves, and being able to land at an NPC that sells shockwaves and just get them off the rip is really nice. The NPC cycles between 3 different characters. The metal one ends up selling a gold pump, which is really nice, but all of them sell shockwaves at this shack, so that's huge. And then another thing that you're going to be able to do, because this area doesn't have very much loot, you want to plant your reality sapling near or outside this building. And that's going to give you really good consistent loot every single time you land here, because the building itself doesn't really have that much loot. It has a decent amount, but it's not that much. So you want to land here, get shockwaves, loot the building, loot your reality sapling. If you guys do not understand how the reality sapling works so far in Season 3, it is huge. It's one of the biggest changes they've made to the game, and it just completely changes the game. I expect it to get nerfed somewhat soon because of how overpowered this plant is. But basically, you plant the plant, and then when you open your map, it'll say at the bottom left how much time is left until the webs form on your plant. And then every time you harvest the plant, it goes up in rarity. So if you plant your plant, it starts off at green. And then after a certain amount of time, you'll be able to clear the webs, and then it'll go up to blue, and then purple, and then gold, and then mythic. And then after mythic, the plant dies, and you have to restart again at green. But this gives you 3 items corresponding to the color of your plant. So if you have a purple plant, you will get 3 purple items off the rip. If you have a gold plant, you'll get 3 gold items off the rip. So not only do you get really good weapons, but you also get pretty much guaranteed shield, because any plant higher than green rarity is guaranteed shield. It gives you a gun plus minis or a big pot. You're always going to get minis or a big from the plants as it is right now. So this looting this building, you're going to get shockwaves. You're going to get loot from the building, and then you're going to get the loot from your reality sapling plus any other reality saplings that are nearby, because you can loot other people's reality saplings. So you're pretty much always going to have full shield, you're always going to have shockwaves, and you're always going to have good guns. This is by far like one of the easiest ways to start a match I've ever seen in Fortnite. Of all the seasons that I've ever played, just being able to land here, buy shockwaves, get your reality sapling, guaranteed full shield, guaranteed goated weapons. It's ridiculous. And then you can loot down the street and get other loot as you go. And towards the base of the reality sapling tree, there's going to be a ridiculous amount of trees usually. So if you need other loot, you can get it here. But this area is typically pretty hot, and you can definitely get in some awkward fights where you just end up getting third-partied here. So be careful. If you have good loot, you probably don't want to be forcing that. The next thing you're going to want to get, if you don't have them already, is Chug Splashes. I think Chug Splashes are far better than any other healing item in the game. And I'm going to put a map on screen now showing where all the cooler spawns are. And as you'll see, there's pretty much none nearby this building. But depending on how you rotate around the map or where you end up needing to go, try to memorize where these coolers are and just know where you can pick up Chug Splashes along the way, because in zero build mode, Chug Splashes are incredibly valuable. It's hard to get time to heal, especially in solos. It can be a little different in the team game modes, but in solos, it's really hard to get time to heal if someone beams you. So having Chug Splashes to heal is going to be nice. Often get them at the center lake area. I feel like it's usually easy to rotate there and pick up Chug Splashes for me. But if you aren't comfortable fighting, you're probably going to want to go to somewhere more outskirts, because the lake area is often pretty contested. There's pretty much always people going through that area. But there are a lot of coolers, and there are launch pads in that area as well. Typically, if all you want to do is win, you're going to want to rotate dead side of zone or on the far edge of the map away from people as much as possible, and then get to what zone is. So I will have a picture of a zone on screen now, and I will have arrows drawn showing what dead side would be. Just typically the further edge along the map where you're less likely to run into people is going to be the safest way to rotate. And once you are playing the back side of zone, fighting people or encountering people is going to be less likely. And the reason why you want to avoid fighting if all you want to do is win is because the more you fight, the more often it is that you're going to die, you know? If every fight, let's just say you have a 50% chance to win or lose, the more fights you take, the more likely it is you're going to die. So avoiding conflict is typically going to be the easiest way to win in battle royales. And in the zero build mode especially, I feel like it is very hard to deal with third parties because there's no building. If you and another player trade AUG shots and you end up getting the upper hand on them and you kill them, but let's say they do 100 damage to you and you have to heal, and someone else starts fighting you immediately, and you don't have time to heal, you're probably going to lose that fight even if you're a much better player than them. So getting third partied is really something you want to avoid as much as possible in the zero build mode, and the easiest way to avoid that is to rotate dead side and avoid fighting. I know it can be boring, but this video is about winning if you want to win, so you know what I mean. I will have other videos in the future about getting high kill games. Next, you're going to want to try to control whatever power position there is in zone. This can be a mountaintop, a good house to control, just some area that gives you a decent amount of cover and a vantage point on zone. And you want to control this as much as you can in game. If you get a spot that's too good, you're likely going to have to defend it. So that is something you have to weigh your options and really decide, do I really want to control Shifty Mountain when Shifty Mountain is in zone? Because you're going to have to defend it most of the time. But yeah, you're going to want to have some vantage point or some like good piece of cover, some good piece of the zone to control to yourself. That way you have the upper hand in fights, and it's much easier to win fights if you're just controlling an area than if you're running around constantly looking for people. Once again, if you want to get kills, that's the way to go. But if all you want to do is win, you're going to want to control whatever vantage point or whatever power position is in zone and just do your best to defend it. Also, I feel like when you are controlling this spot, the more fights you take, once again, the more likely it is you're going to die. So don't start shooting at people unless you're somewhat certain you can get the kill. If you see someone running across like far distance and you think maybe I could get like 3 AUG bursts on him, it probably isn't worth shooting at that because you're not going to get the kill and you're just going to draw attention to yourself. And this is going to create opportunities for other players to be aware of you and potentially focus you, or for other players to sneak up on you while you're shooting that person. So when it comes to endgame, try not to take fights unless you, like, obviously if you have to take fights, you have to. If someone is going to fight you, you need to defend yourself. But unless you can pretty much guarantee a kill, you don't want to be starting fights because it's going to get you focused, especially in-game. A lot of zero build in-games just come down to like ratty zones, and whichever player fights last is probably going to be the win. You know, if it's a 1v1v1 and the other 2 players are fighting, it's really likely that you're going to just be able to third party that and win the game. But on the flip side, if it's a 1v1v1 and you start fighting somebody and you're not able to get that kill quickly, it's really easy for the other player to third party you and for them to get an easy win. So it is really unfortunate that that's how the game goes, but oftentimes in solos, that is how it goes. So yeah, land at your reality sapling area, get shockwaves, get your good loot. You want to try to get chug splashes if you can along the course of the game, and then just play for endgame from that point forward and play to control the important spot in zone. And if you are playing team game modes, this video focused mostly on solos, but if you are playing team game modes, like even squads, you might think that spot would be terrible, but you just got to think, if you have 4 people, then you have 4 plants, so that's 12 loot spawns and 12 guaranteed spawns of shield. Plus, each plant comes with 3 mushrooms. So if you have 4 mushrooms, that's 120 shield just for mushrooms. So one player would be able to guaranteed get full shield just by the mushrooms and save your shield items. So I think even in the team game modes, this spot can work just because of how overpowered the plant is. If this video is several weeks old as you're watching it, it's possible they've nerfed the plant. But as it is right now, the plant is incredibly overpowered, and you want to make sure you level your plant up. That way you're getting purple or gold loot literally every single game the moment you land. It is a ridiculous advantage. And even if your plant isn't high level yet, it doesn't take long to get it to purple. And you can rotate through the reality sapling area, like I said, and there's so many plants there typically, and you're going to be able to get really, really good loot. If you guys did find this video helpful and informative, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. Comment down below how many crowns you have, like I said before, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.